Hey, it's Tim, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk, doing a live stream tonight. Obviously I'm not home. Jill is on her way in, guys. We're going to talk about this week. We've had a lot of stuff going on and want to do a Friday night live thing because, it's the only time we have these days. And so if you listen to the podcast, it's maybe a little bit slower start as far as a live stream goes, but I'll do my best to pick up some speed here. So a couple things that are we're going to talk about tonight. I'm trying to see what Jill actually did a live stream. I was busy all day doing some Toyota stuff behind the scenes. And so we're going to talk about the Detroit Auto Show. A lot of stuff going on there. I had the Ram 1500, and I have a question for you guys tonight on that Ram 1500. I need your viewpoint. And again, I'm trying to see what else we're on the topics. But yeah, so lots of good stuff coming your way. Let me just double check, make sure I get all these topics. Should be live. I don't know. We'll figure out what's going on here. So I'll get it straightened out. Maybe I'll just ask Jill. So, like I said, Jill's on her way in. We've had a crazy week. So let me back up a little bit. So I flew in Sunday to Chicago. Jill and I drove down Monday to Bilstein. We did a really cool visit with Bilstein. I got some video coming for you guys. We're jumping TRXs, talking to them about shocks. A really cool company. So we had a really good time with that. And then we drove up to Michigan. We did the North American International Auto Show, Detroit Auto Show kind of deal. And then we drove I was there for 2 days. I did a Super Duty backgrounder. Oh, no, I did some stuff going on with Super Duty. That's coming. I did some cool stuff with that show. And then we, let's see, today is Friday. Yeah. So today I did a really cool, a really cool video on towing technology and things in the Toyota, I'm going to say it more correctly, Toyota Tundra. I didn't actually know. Like the Toyota engineers taught me some things today, which kind of pissed me off because I think I pretty well know what's going on with the Tundra, but they told me some things going on with that truck that really surprised me. So we had a good time with them. We actually played golf with one of their engineers, so that was kind of cool. And so lots of good stuff going on today, with just a lot of cool stuff happening. And so, like I said, Jill is on her way, and we'll go from there. Kurt is here. Hey, Kurt Williams. Howdy ho. Howdy. Thoughts on the 2022 Jaguar F-Pace? I thought the Jaguar F-Pace was cool. I enjoy driving that thing around. Styling is cool. Interior is cool. Performance is cool. Just it's expensive. Joseph Breen is here. Breen, I got to tell you something, Joseph Breen. And Jill will be on, like I said, Jill will be on here a little bit. Hello from Travis Point, PNN Project Channel. Oh, is that Kurt? Is that? Hold on. Yeah, is that Nick? Nick, is that you? Are you on the live stream tonight? So Nick is the engineer, and that might be his channel. I know he has a channel with his son. He's got a channel with his son. Anyways, I'm gonna get off track here, but Joseph Breen, we stopped, and maybe I'll say this for Jill, but we stopped and saw a cemetery in Lima, Ohio, and there was Breen was a name on some of the gravestones. And I'll be honest, I think you've commented on this channel so many times that when I saw the gravestone with Breen on there, I was like, that reminds me of Joseph. That reminds me of you because the Breen name was on these things. So again, maybe agreeably, I spent too much time in the comments, but look, that's what happened today. So I hope that is Nick took us to a really cool golf course and kicked our butts, man. What a cool place, but it's a hard course. My dad and I are both tired. My brother played as well. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. Joseph, so I'm sorry, Joseph. I went a whole thing on your last name. And like so before Jill gets here, we'll talk about the Detroit Auto Show. But let me go ahead and hop in your questions here. Joseph wants to know, I still want to drive any of the Colorados. They look good, but they still don't have the horrible 8-speed, even though they say it's new and retuned. They only offer one engine. Okay. With Colorado and Canyon, they look good, but they only offer one engine. They have the horrible 8-speed, even though they say it's been retuned and fixed. So he actually commented again. I think the 8-speed is a problem, but I think that GM and all these engineers are good about figuring out what's going wrong with your vehicles. And I think you're not going to have a problem. I think you're going to have a vehicle that's going to be, so Jill, so, hold on. I got to send Jill the StreamYard thing so she can get in. So I'm doing that now. I think there's a lot of long-standing ideas behind that transmission that are causing people a lot of angst. But I think it's kind of overblown at this point. I think the new one's gonna be better. If I know engineers and I know engineers from different brands, they are gonna fix it. They're gonna fix it. They're gonna make things happen. And I'm gonna say, sent Jill, sent you it, waiting on you. I think that will be a problem. I'm excited to drive them as well. I'm really hopeful that we get the invites. We're able to go because I really love. I like those smaller sizes. I've actually been talking about buying a mid-size truck because, as you guys know, Ranger's coming out, Colorado's coming out, Canyon's coming out, new Tacoma is coming out, new the Frontier was redone recently, so next year could be a big year for mid-size trucks, and there's a lot of exciting stuff coming. And I tell you what, I've been around Toyota a little bit. I've been around some of their suppliers like Bilstein. So we stopped there to give some cool shirts. That Tacoma's coming. It's coming, and I'm excited to see it because I just here's the thing with Tacoma. I think it's a solid truck. I have always had a good time driving them around. I love beating them up. They are fantastic to drive, but I need to see like if it's gonna be if I can fit. I've always had a problem fitting. So Jill's got technical difficulties. My connection is unstable. There we go. Connection is good. So I think it's kind of funny. And I'll get to this in a minute. Again, Jill's hopping on. So I'm gonna say, hurry up. Hurry up. Detroit Auto Show. I actually had a really cool moment. I was in the Ford Mustang reveal and I got recognized by a fan. how do I get recognized by a fan in a Ford Mustang reveal? That's a little crazy. I wasn't expecting that at all. Oh, this is interesting. I'm at my dad's house, and my dad has a picture of myself, my brother, and I back in 2004. Do you guys want to see this photo? Since we're killing time, Jill's getting here. I'm sorry for those podcast listeners. This is when Tim was young and thin, or a lot thinner. So it's a screen print on a mouse pad, but here, so it'll be here anyways. Okay, so I'm if you're looking at this, I'm this guy, my dad's in the middle, my brother's there too. So there you go. There's all the background information for you guys who want to cyber stalk me and know where I live and all kind of stuff. So that was interesting. I didn't realize he made a mouse pad out of that. I have the same photo. It was January of 2004, which feels like it's an eternity ago. All right. I see the 5-foot wonder is getting our technical difficulties figured out. I'm gonna. Are you ready to be added to the stream? Is she adding to my stream? What's she saying? I have to let her in. So show of hands, who wants Jill in the live stream? Because I'm a little bit mystified in whether we should do this or not. It's kind of like letting the tiger out of the cage. So I don't know. Should we do this? I think we should do this. Jill is slamming the last of her mocha shake. I agree, Gene. I think she's slamming the rest of her mocha shake, and that's what she's doing. Hey, Jill, how's it going?
The last of my mocha shake. I'm drinking an IPA tonight. I'm just going to point that out. It has been a long week with a longer drive because I drove from Chicago to Hamilton, Ohio, up to Detroit, back to Chicago, and now I'm in Indianapolis. So it's been a long day. And you may notice I have some marks on my forehead. I wore my helmet all day today to prepare for Rebel. So I drove all the way to Indianapolis with my helmet on.
How many people do you think took photos of you as you're driving by?
A lot. There were a lot of people who went like this, and then they slowed back down, and they were and I'm like, don't look, don't ask.
So I have to make a joke because I think this is really kind of funny. I'm in my parents' basement, and Jill is in her parents' basement.
Yes. So we are both in our parents' bed. Yet another reason for an IPA this evening.
Yeah, I think we need to go on the YouTube channels and leave nasty comments since we're downstairs in our parents' basements.
Be trolls. Is that what you're saying? We should be trolls.
We should be trolls. Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny. So I was kind of giving people an overview of what happened this week because, like I said, we've been traveling quite a bit. And so Joseph Breen, one more time. So they're putting the new 8-speed in their full-size trucks 2.7. I believe they are. I did double check that. But I was pointing out to Joseph Breen that the Breen name was on one of the plaques at the cemetery we stopped at.
Oh.
And I just happened to see it. Remember that. So we did some real life Ancestry.com with Jill. So we got that taken care of.
My family, long drama, but the short story is I needed to go to Lima, Ohio, and get a picture of my aunt's grave because she was buried during the pandemic, and we didn't see the gravestone. So Tim was a total peach and actually went and spent probably about an hour in the graveyard with me as I was trying to find all of the graves I needed to find. So thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. And yeah, that was quite the interesting day. So let's get back to the show because I know people are gonna be like, "You've been talking about nothing for 10 minutes,
You've
Turner.
been
You should
talking
get
about
to the topic."
Ciminillo graves. What
Yeah.
are you talking
All
about?
right. So look,
Lima, Ohio. What?
so we did attend the Detroit Auto Show. We did shoot a bunch of videos. So let me back up for a minute. Because live streams are kind of behind the scenes stuff. So let me give you the little behind the scenes.
It's a
Behind the
little
scenes was
inside baseball.
inside baseball was that I got hosted by Ford. So Ford gave me a hotel room and airfare, which is fine because it didn't matter because we already had airfare booked and stuff like
We're
that.
gonna
So
go anyway.
we're going regardless. So what happened was that I got invited by Ford to go to the Detroit Tigers game, and Jill, well,
Did not
Jill
get
got left
invited.
out of
And
everything.
I
But
actually like baseball, but somebody does not. I guess I should point that way. Somebody does not really care about baseball.
well,
I
because I
like
was in high school when I did when I did the high school baseball stuff, it kind of killed me from loving the sport. But anyways, so I was an umpire and behind the scenes. Anyways, so we go and Jill does a Chrysler 300 unveil, which is a car for those who care about that stuff. It's a car.
it's a car that
And
looks like the same car for the past like 20 years.
yeah, it
Car?
just has a new
Yeah.
engine. It's basically the last call for that. So uh but Jill gets the chance to talk to the PR team at the Detroit Auto Show at that unveiling. So really the unveiling was who cares? But the inside baseball she got. So we knew that President Biden was going to be there, which was not very well communicated to all the media that was attending. The communication was, I think, poor would be too much of a benefit for
That
that.
would be generous. There
That'd
was
be very generous.
this much communication between the Detroit Auto Show PR team and media. Like
Yeah.
I don't think I got a single email from them saying, "Hey, by the way, this is what's going on at the auto show."
Yeah, we didn't get anything from them, and I'm seeing my signals dropping down a little bit. So sorry tonight if you're missing out on me because this is all I got, folks. I don't have a hardwire connection. This is what I got. So we did that, and then we got there early, 7 o'clock. There was a long security line, and everybody who's shooting video from TV land had to have their bags inspected one by one by
Yeah.
the Secret Service.
Yeah.
And so Jill was very complimentary of me because we shoot only with the GoPro and we didn't have to stand in line. So we got through line early, and then
Thank God we have a small camera.
right. So we got through that I don't know what to call it, the chaos.
The
We got
TSA security,
oh my
Secret Service protocol, whatever.
yeah. So Secret Service was there, all that kind of stuff. So we get to the show floor. I shoot 3 videos right away. Jill finds media center, Nactoy in the bathroom while I'm done with my videos. And then, maybe the bathroom wasn't part of that. But anyways, so
No,
we
it
shoot a
was
bunch of
not.
videos because we know that he's gonna be on the show floor. So at 10:30, they announce, y'all get out of here. We like you, but you can't stay because
Yeah.
all non-essential, whatever.
Closing time.
Yeah.
You don't have
Yeah.
to go home, but you can't stay here. Yeah.
We were doing the closing time song. So we leave and we go out to a wing at the not Cobalt, Huntington Place.
The place formerly known as Cobo, which is now
Cobalt.
Huntington. Yeah.
So the media is actually all there together. So anybody you think of, Tom and Micah was there, all of the cars.com staff was there, Motor Trend, Car Driver, everybody was there, right? So we're all sitting there, and we actually sat on the floor because seating was minimal because we're all there, right? And
Because
everybody's using the internet.
Detroit Auto Show planned so well to have us all sequestered in this little space.
I was smart.
3
We
hours.
first get there and I go to the bathroom and I come back. This became a thing because when I came back about 10 minutes later, they closed the access to the bathrooms.
3 hours.
Yes. So yeah, we were stuck for 3 hours or 2 or we were stuck here for hours and hours. And so there's no bathroom, all the water you can drink, all the Diet Pepsi you can drink, right? Whatever. No Diet Coke, damn people. So we drank too much, and then we're like crossing our legs, trying to wait for that.
You drank too much. I had a couple sips of water. I was fine.
Oh well, no, I was actually quite good. So then we got allowed back to the show floor, and then we all stood in line because Biden wasn't done. Apparently, he was doing a 60 minutes interview or something like that. I haven't seen it. I didn't really pay much attention to it. And so another half an hour goes by. We're standing outside the glass that you don't lean on, that I
Leaned
leaned
on.
on. So
I was like, I need to take a picture of you leaning on the glass with the sign that says "Don't lean on the glass."
right.
We
So
still,
we
we
get
were going to get to cars eventually, but this is how our week went.
Yeah, so we get in the show, we shoot some more videos, and then I'm pretty tapped out. I have only so much in the tank these days, and so then we go to the Ford Mustang reveal, and then I went to bed. I was just exhausted. So,
Wah, wah.
yeah, the show was. People ask me, "Well, the Detroit." I don't know about you, Jill, but the Detroit Auto Show was the same Detroit Auto Show for the media. It was nothing changed for us.
Well, so okay, it's smaller. It has fewer cars. I would say, the Detroit 3 were there in force. Toyota was there, and that was about it.
Yeah, but didn't we
And
decide so NACTOY president Gary Witzenberg said that 60 cars still hadn't made it in. And our
yeah,
theory was that the Secret Service hadn't screened those cars. That was our
right.
theory. So there
So I
was
mean, potentially there was more stuff coming in that just didn't make it, but it was a very small show. And so I did the Autoline TV live stream yesterday where we talked about the NACTOY semifinalists, and we were talking. We got onto the conversation. I think actually I don't know if it was during the show or after the show. It could have been offline after hours, but we were talking about the show itself, and my theory is automakers like Honda, Nissan, Mazda, Acura. I mean, Hyundai wasn't even really there. Genesis. These are the automakers that weren't there. They are shooting themselves in the foot. Because in my book, auto shows are not for me and Tim. They are not for journalists. They are for the general consumer to go and put their butt in a seat and see how it fits. And I just I really think that not having everybody there is a bad thing. And I gave the example. I went to the Chicago Auto Show with a friend who was going to buy a car, and his number one vehicle on the list was a Honda CRV. And he had a clipboard of all the vehicles he wanted to sit in and adjust. His wife has MS, and so he wanted to sit in all these cars to see how she could get in and how she could get out. Honda wasn't there, so they bought a Hyundai.
Yeah.
Number one on the list was a Honda CRV, and because it wasn't at the auto show, they didn't buy it. So
Yeah,
I think automakers are really doing themselves a disservice by not being at an auto show.
I think that too, and also I think the fact that not every trim level is there. I think people get this perception that every Chevy Silverado is there in every single trim level, and you can check out different packages and trims, and
No.
they're not there for us. We don't see them, and so I get there's limited variety and limited and pricing and cost, that kind of stuff. I get all that stuff together, but it's been unfortunate the more auto shows have slowed down. It makes our jobs harder because we're always trying to find vehicles and things like that, and trying to do comparisons is usually what I do at shows a lot, and that's really hard when that stuff isn't there. So, yeah, it was. I'm curious what happens in the public days and what the feedback is there, but I can tell you as an auto journalist, as a group of us, we were all pretty disappointed in the show. The communication was poor. The show wasn't anything different, and the media, just everything about it was just.
And I didn't need the show to be different. I just needed better communication, and I needed the product specialists to show up and give us access. Like, we were there at 7 a.m. trying to get access to vehicles, and they're like, nope, you can't get behind the glass. You can't do that. You can't open the door. No, you can't do that. And so, like, we have 3 hours to do the video that we need to do, basically, before they allow the industry people in with their tape measures. And and nobody was there to give us permission to get behind the wall. So we need to stop talking about our rants, because that's not what this is about. I think somebody in there, although I could go on and on and on, believe me, with the Jill rants, somebody on here asked what our favorite vehicle was from the show. Did you have one?
I did have one. So are we doing? I'm waiting to do Rochambeau. Like, am I doing paper, rock, or scissors with you? What am I gonna do? Should I
No,
go
no, you're
first?
going. I'm allowing you to go first.
Wow. Can you everybody in this live stream, I want you to go to your calendar and put down a little note on this that Jill's letting me go first.
What? Just
Okay.
water, Tim.
So I will tell you my favorite was that Ram Limited. And I know it's on our list. I can just barely make out a few words in the list, but so let me preface this by saying that I got there and I was ready to fire. I was ready to go first thing in the morning because I knew my energy level was 100% right then and there. Right, so I know it's going to go. So I got to shoot right away because I know my body, my neck issues and things. I know I'm going to slow down. I'm just going to.
He has issues.
And so
I could go all night long.
Okay, where's the mute button?
Oh, sorry. Go first. Go.
Anyway,
Get to your point.
so my point was, I looked over and I saw Ram lineup because we were between Ram, Chevy, and Ford was kind of all together, a little bit basically in the show kind of together. And I saw the Ram truck there, and I walked over. Laramie with the Elite edition for all the new limited with all the Elite edition, all the new stuff for that truck. The new gauge cluster that is edgeless, I think that's what the word for it was. And I saw that sitting there, and I was like, I have never seen the 23 Ram, and I know I've talked about it, but I've never seen it. So I immediately went over and looked at it, and I did a video on it, and I was really happy to do the video because I thought it was going to be awesome, and I thought it was exclusive. So the video went live today. People are watching it, thank goodness, because I thought it was really cool too. And then I was all excited. That's a truck I really am thinking about buying. Like I have a full disclosure. I have 2 trucks right now on my list, and I just got a phone call today. I'm working on 2 different truck deals, and I was so excited to see it. It's everything I wanted. I want a Ram truck. This is awesome. And then they freaking killed the EcoDiesel,
Wah, wah.
and now I'm like, I don't know what to do. But we'll get to that in a little bit later. But yeah, so what was your favorite vehicle?
I have to say, I really liked the Cadillac Lyric. I cannot wait to drive that vehicle. It just looks freaking cool. And I'm feeling a little bit of FOMO because a lot of our colleagues have already driven this vehicle and I haven't. But like the lighting signatures look cool, the design looks cool. I can't. So that was my favorite, and I did a video on that. And it was funny because I was reading the comments and somebody was like, the dial isn't the gear shift. And I was like, well, I haven't driven it. It wasn't even on. So I don't know if the dial was the gear shift. So apparently the gear shift is on the column and that little knobby thing is like the touch controller for the infotainment. I don't know. But yeah, haven't driven it. So I can't wait to drive it. So I probably said some things wrong in that video, but you should check it out because I think it looks really cool. And I think they did a really good job of modernizing Cadillac. Because right now, I mean, you look at some of the Cadillac vehicles and you're like, yeah, that's something my dad would drive. And you know, no offense, but
Yeah, my dad's got a Cadillac upstairs XT6, and they have an XT4. So
yeah, so it's something Tim's dad would drive. But they did a really great job with the Lyric of, I think, updating it, modernizing it, and making it look really cool. So I didn't really sit in it, so we've got to see if those seats are comfortable. But I am hopeful.
the seats are good.
I'm hopeful not only that the seats will be good, but that it'll drive well. But that was probably I really like the Lyric, and I was kind of excited to check out the Blazer EV and the Equinox EV. And I mean, I know EV, blah blah blah, but
Yeah, but no, I'm shaking my head
so
because
cool.
oh my goodness, we had so many problems trying to get those vehicles and get them on camera.
Yeah. But I have to tell you, like that video on my TikTok channel is doing like the best of the videos that I've done at the show so far. So I'm really kind of ticked off that we couldn't find a happy place with Chevrolet to get them to work with us to allow us to view those vehicles.
Yeah, we tried, and we ran it. We were trying to shoot one, and we got bumped out, and then they wouldn't let us get inside the Blazer, which was so strange.
And then everybody was in the Blazer, and we're like, why?
I know, and Joe Rady
Sorry,
gets
I
in, and
just
then he
pulled
does his
full
thing,
van
Sophia
again.
does her thing, and we're just like, gosh darn it. So that's the one. Those are the 2 that we could not do anything with.
Yeah.
All right, so
Oh, the Hornet GLH Gene. I thought that was pretty cool too. So we did get to see that. And I was like, GLH, and Tim's like, goes like hell, Jill. And I was like, okay, didn't pick up
it
on
was
that.
based on the old Omni, yeah.
But I thought it was pretty cool. I loved the graphics, and I think it was like black on black. I thought that looked really cool, and I like the Hornet in general. I know I did a TikTok on it. I don't think I've loaded it yet, but I thought that was pretty cool. I'm excited to drive the Hornet as well. It's got the PHEV powertrain, and just really kind of sporty driving dynamics. In theory, I haven't driven it yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. So let's get to some of these questions. Joseph Breen says, "Why have another truck manufacturers put in bumper stacks like GM has?" He's want to know why have other truck manufacturers haven't done it yet. More coming. Looking at Wayne Hawkins. So Joseph, I can't answer your question yet. More coming. Keep an eye out. Wayne Hawkins, did Chevrolet have a new reveal at the show? They did. Been hearing there was supposed to be a new car SUV. There was. It was the Tahoe RST that
Special edition.
Special edition, which Jill did
Yes.
an interview for.
It was like the performance edition. So it's a special edition of the Tahoe. So nothing really new or special, but it was a performance edition. So what's really cool about this vehicle is it borrows a lot from the police pursuit vehicles. And from the brakes to the suspension to the tuning, but it gets a better engine. So it's like Tahoe to Tahoe, you could outrun that police pursuit vehicle because it has more, like 50 more horsepower or something like that. But it's got more horsepower and like a better engine. So I thought that was kind of funny. It borrows all the stuff from the PPV, but better.
Yeah, but you got to remember the police pursuit vehicle wins because they have the radio system. They can call the cars. That's how. Once the radio went live, the police always won. It was like, damn it, they can give you to get more fast. Aaron wants to know how much money for the Lyric. I have pulled it up on as Jill was talking. From $61,795, which really means it's about a $70,000 vehicle. Hornet. Okay. He says, okay, saw your video. Yep, there you go. That was the one they unveiled.
Yeah, that was it.
The Equinox was there, but again, like we said, we had so many problems getting Equinox together. I did do a video on the Colorado ZR2 Desert Boss was there, and the Silverado ZR2 Bison was there. They had them kind of back to back, like sitting in a row. And so there's a video on the channel about that as well, because I thought it was pretty cool.
I know it's a car question.
It is a car question, but I want to answer this car question because this is something that this came up. So Ron Dale,
I'm not logged in, by the way, so I can't pull up any of these for whatever reason. Like I'm not logged in, but yes, car question.
I have the power. So Ron Dale says, was a prototype for the Dodge Charger Daytona EV at the show?
It was.
And it was. And I will say this.
Really cool.
It does look pretty cool. I mean, if Dodge does one thing really well, they design really cool looking cars, and it looked pretty damn cool.
Yeah, with the Banshee powertrain, it's like 800 volt Banshee powertrain. I think it looked really cool. I took so I have some photos of it on my Instagram page, and like from the interior and the lighting. I think that's pretty darn close to production. I think like that's close.
Okay, I'm not laughing at Jill. I got to read this comment out loud.
Always laughs at me, by the way.
X BoobTube X Smith says, "Hello everyone. Sorry I'm late. I had to give the goldfish a bath." Oh, Fire Marshal says, "Love your content." Thank you so much, Fire Marshal. I was thinking Fire Marshal Bill from the In Living Color. Okay. Seen the video from General Motors Jeff on the Colorado ZR2. Yeah. So we ran into General Motors Jeff. Talked to him as well. Didn't get to spend much time with him as he wanted to, but yeah, he was there. Came down from Canada. Also spent a lot of time with the Elmers over at Truck King. If you haven't seen those, so Jill and I talked with Steven and
Howard. I got to meet them in real life.
In real life, and Howard, I will tell you this: great guy. He's still cranky Howard. Great guy.
Does he have a Jill rant?
Yeah.
Actually, I loved his story about like how he deflects people. You got to tell a story.
Okay, so one of the challenges of the YouTube channel is we always get asked the same question. If you were to own a truck for 20 years and you would put 20,000 miles on it a year and you want to haul, tow, whatever, what truck would you go with? And it's just an impossible question because there is no single right answer. And if you start discussing it, it's 45 minutes to an hour later. Like I can talk about trucks for an hour and a half about that one question. So there's no right answer. And so he said he's been doing it for years and years and years. And what his philosophy is like, what truck are you looking for? Looking for this one. Well, that's the greatest truck on the earth. Somebody says
Yeah.
Ford F-50, greatest truck on earth. Says
He's
Ram,
like, doesn't matter
greatest
what
truck.
they say.
Yeah,
It's
no
the
matter what you
greatest truck ever.
say. Yes, and because I just answered the question tonight on this because people said, "What truck would you buy?" I'm like, I would buy one of the latest, greatest. I'd buy the latest, greatest technology. I would buy the dumbest truck ever because that gets the cooks. It's a business, folks. Like, I own a '62 C10. Guess what truck I'm driving the rest of my life?
Well, so the other thing that they do, they're like, if you were going to buy a truck, the last truck you were ever going to buy, what would it be? And he was like, I'd buy a hearse.
Oh yes, I remember he did say that. I buy a hearse.
He's like, because it's going to be the
He's
last
like,
truck. I just needed to get my dead body to the graveyard. And I'm like, I like you. You're
yeah,
awesome.
he's like, it hauls, it tows. I can get my body to the graveyard and buy a
Hearse.
hearse. It'd be the best vehicle. So, yeah, good channel over there. We have a lot of funny Canadian friends, and I was teasing them because every video they do, either the truck is in the mud, or it's coming out of the mud, or it's going into the mud, or it's getting stuck in the mud. It's good content, though. I mean, I enjoy it as well. I want to discuss a question that what's it? Cybertruck brings an interesting question. And I like Cybertruck on this channel because he always has a different viewpoint, and he gets into it in the comments, which is fine. But it's nice to see a different viewpoint. Sometimes I disagree, sometimes I kind of agree with him. But he says, I don't know. I saw this news. The question is thoughts on Ford moving to no haggle pricing and dealership EV forced investment. So I did see this news snippet. I didn't get a chance to read it all the way because again I was doing some cool stuff with Toyota today, and I'm telling you, the Toyota videos, you got to check these videos out. We had a really good time. I have seen this. We've seen this at other brands. We've seen Cadillac and Buick say either you get on the board with us or we can close your dealership. We've seen that happening a lot. The problem with no haggle pricing and what they're trying to get around is there's dealership laws. So Ford can't actually say the dealership has to do this because dealerships are franchisees. Now, what Ford can say is that if you charge too much, we're going to slow down your allocation. You're not going to make any trucks. And that's kind of what they're doing. That's what Buick and GM and everybody does. The dealership EV forced investment, that is going to be a very controversial item because some dealerships can actually make a profit in EV and some don't. Like dealership in my area, he spent like $25,000 20 years ago for an EV charging station because he thought that was the newest thing coming up right around the bend was the EV stuff, and it hasn't worked out. I think my viewpoint on this is going to stay the same. I don't mind the push for battery EVs. I like clean air. I like a clean environment. Everybody does. There's no argument there. I'm getting very frustrated that the consumer is being left out of this equation. That's my frustration. That this is all that's heading that way. So dealerships are going to really be struggling pretty soon, and I just feel like there's going to be I think battery EVs are going to kill the dealership model to some degree. The world's going to change because of that. So but Joe, what are your thoughts? You've been traveling a lot. I don't think you've seen this news story. I think it was a memo they put out, which is what, a lot of stuff happens, but are you on board with these brands saying either you go full EV or we're going to close your dealership down? It's EV or nothing.
Well, I mean, so thing number one is if a brand is going all EV, dealership doesn't really have a choice.
Yeah.
You got to sell what the dealer is pushing out. But I want to go back to the no haggle pricing. So the first car that I bought myself was a Saturn. And I loved that car because they had that no haggle pricing philosophy of this is the price and we don't negotiate. And the idea was you could go and so I bought my car used. It was like 3 years old. And I looked on Kelley Blue Book, and the Kelley Blue Book price for the car that I wanted was, I don't know what it was like $14,000 or something like that. So and they had the vehicle at $16,000 or something like that. And I went in and I was like, okay, you have it 16,000. I priced it out on here and it's 14,000. So I'm just, what's the disconnect? And they were like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll give it to you for 14,000. I was like, what? But it was like literally the best car buying experience I've ever had. And it was the first car that I bought. And, but I love because they're just like, well, if you see that it's valued at this someplace else, then yeah, we'll honor that. And I was just like, thumbs up. So I don't know. I like the idea of no hackle pricing because I mean, going into a dealership and then having to wait for the manager, and oh, let me see about the financing and that time waster. I don't have that time. Do you have that time? I do not have that time. So I like the idea of the no haggle pricing. But the EV thing, it's like, okay, you sell what the dealer has or what the manufacturer makes. So if the manufacturer is only making EVs, there's no forcing there. There's just no choice. That's what they got.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of mom and pop dealerships that have been in business for 30, 40 years go under because either they don't have the desire to sell EVs, they don't have the financial means to make the investment, they don't have whatever. I think we're just going to find less and less. I think that's what's going to happen.
Well, but again, like if that's all the automaker is making, like that's on you, not on Ford, because that's what they're making. And if if you're a Ford dealer, you got to sell it. If you can't sell it, then that's your problem. It's not their problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's that adapt or die philosophy, right? So either adapt or die. I mean, I feel it's unfortunate because, for example, if video decides not to become the mainstay for most media outlets these days, right? Or if digital online, we all go back to newspapers and magazines, right? I'm kind of screwed, right? I'm kind of the odd man out if something were to change on that. So, or we are screwed, or our business is screwed. I mean, I get it. I understand the frustration there. I understand um, why automaker. Actually, what I would say is, I would say dealership employees are having a lot of struggles trying to understand this new business model, new business case, and what we're trying to do. And there's just it's just the problem with the EV forced adoption kind of stuff is that it just fits and starts. Like, an EV in Chicago works for Jill, but an EV in Nebraska doesn't work for me. But EV works for my parents and I were talking about this. My stepmom and my dad were talking about this, in that in Florida they would have it great to have an EV in Florida as a secondary car. They drive around the neighborhood with the EV. That's all they have to drive back from Michigan to Florida about twice a year. In that case, they want to use their gasoline car, right? But when they get to Michigan or they get to Florida, they'd be fine driving an EV because they don't have to put them miles on it. But the infrastructure is not quite there yet to do
No, it's
something
not.
if they want to drive to Iowa or something. So EVs work in certain places and don't work in other places. But it feels like right now today, it's like it's got to be now. It's now, 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 now. The future's here now. Just get on it. And there's no like, are we ready yet? I think that's the question people need to seriously ask. Are we really ready yet? And the answer I've heard consistently from EV advocates and EV critics and EV owners is that no, we're not ready for it yet. So I don't know. It seems like there's a lot going on with that. And again, I will tell you this, that every auto show we go to, we see more and more EVs. You walk in the door, people going to Detroit this weekend, the auto show in Detroit will be, if they're not EV fans, they'll be disappointed because every display, every place you look at, EVs everywhere.
Yeah. Okay, so I let me see if I can share a screen with you. Like we're talking about like you've got to evolve or die, you've got to change, you've got to and I have saved this comic that I saw cuz I knew I wanted to be a journalist when I was like very young. And I saw this comic and I was like this is going to mean something someday. I don't know if anybody has heard of Known Sequitur, the comic strip. I'm hoping it'll let me
I'm like, where are we
share.
going with this, Jill?
Um, let's see. What screen is it going to share?
Why don't you do that? I'll answer this question from Jason. Jason wants to
Okay.
know, starting to see more inventory in lots lately, and since railroad strike isn't happening, do you think we'll see an end of market adjustment? Yes, market adjustment will end with more inventory on lots. As more inventory goes in lots, we'll go back to the same boom and bust cycle of incentives to move vehicles that aren't moving and sold at retail for vehicles that are hot is what we'll see happening. But I think market adjustment was frankly around years ago, and it's always around. So like my dealer in Nebraska, every time he gets a GT 500 Mustang, he adds $5,000 to it because he gets one a year. And he said he looked around and his $5,000 markup is way less than everybody else is marking up the vehicle. So he doesn't. It's like that's the only one he ever does. And so I think we're going to see market adjustment be a thing for years and years, as it's been in the past few years. It's just the fact that it's become so egregious right now. We're hearing a lot more about it.
Because I'm not logged in, it won't let me share. So I'm sending you the link that you can share. But I just, this always makes me laugh about the idea, because I've always thought, you talk about automakers needing to evolve, dealerships needing to evolve, journalists needing to evolve. I started, my background is in newspaper, print newspaper. That is where I started. Pioneer Press newspapers in the suburbs of Chicago, Chicago Sun-Times. That is my background. But I knew things were going online, so I moved online. I knew things were going to video, so I moved to video. I knew stuff was going on TikTok, so I moved to TikTok. And so, I mean, that's kind of how I feel about automakers. If things are moving to EV, then you've got to make that transition. And I know somebody in here asked, X boob tube X Smith, why does Jill think that they're going to, I can't read. Why does Jill think that's all they're going to make? Will there be only EV big 2,500, 3,500 trucks made? It will be years until EV is exclusive. Yes, it will be years until EV is exclusive, especially for trucks. But cars, I mean, I think cars are going to go EV. SUVs are going to go EV much quicker than your super duty, heavy duty trucks are going to go EV. But once the infrastructure is there, I do think that the heavy duty trucks are also going to go EV. It's evolve or die. Now, does that mean that EV is the end game? That's where we are totally ending up? I don't think so. I don't think EV is the end game. I think it's something else. I kind of like hydrogen. I kind of feel like that might be where the end game is. We just haven't figured out how to get there. But I don't think the end of the day that the last car, the last human on Earth is going to drive is EV. I think it's going to be something completely different.
I was talking today with Toda about this and hydrogen. Why is hydrogen still not a conversation piece? I mean, it's still an option out there, but apparently it's become that's not a choice. You can't do that at all. Well, in a medium duty vehicle, you have to do that. And yeah, Cybertruck is doing the Teslarati thing, positioning that we could do Teslas, and I don't know. Let's see. I have to share the screen on this because I don't know what's going on with the computer, but let's see.
I'm glad you're having problems too. It's not just me.
Okay, so then let me I don't know if I can make it bigger. Really scroll up a little bit. So here is the comic, and the comic says, for those listening to the podcast, it's dinosaurs or two dinosaurs working in a newsroom, and it says, "Don't worry, it's just a passing fad. As long as we're here, newspapers will rule media." And in the corner, they're looking over at a bear who is watching a computer screen and reading on the computer. And that was April 20th, 1997.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy how you are you serious? You have this in your file somewhere from all that time ago?
Yep. I saw that. I feel like I like was in junior high school, whatever. Because I've always been doing journalism things, and I saw that, and I was like, "Yep, this is it right here." And I had it. I have actually a print, I saved the actual comic, and I have it on a bulletin board at home. And then I Google searched it because I'm like, I just need this digital file because I just need it because I'm going to use it all the time. But it's again, it's that whole evolve or die. You've got to figure out what the next trend is, and then you've got to move towards it. And like I said, TikTok may not be the end game, but I'm going to keep going as a journalist to see where people get their content. And automakers and dealers have to do the same thing. What kind of people, what kind of cars are people going to be buying? And and then you have to go from there. But I'm hydrogen. That's where I think the end game is.
Yeah, so let's get to a couple more comments because this is fun. I love talking to you guys. So put you guys down below. Email me at tim@pickuptrucktalk.com. I read those as well. And when I'm not traveling and not out of my mind, I respond to them. I want to bring
some. When are you not out of your mind?
Yeah. Brian wants to know, will there be a 2-door, 8-foot bed EV truck? Not at the current period of time because of what I see. Is Joe may agree with me, well, or not, but I think that's going to be so expensive because right now EV battery prices are really high, and so they're loading up these models to get more profit out of the accessories and such to offset the higher price of building these EVs. I think when battery prices finally drop to a very low level, we'll finally see some real fleet trucks, which is what you're kind of talking to me here, a two-door 8-foot bed, but not until the battery technology goes down. Jill's nodding, so good.
Well, I mean, I think battery technology has to go down. The infrastructure has to go up. I think that, like right now, the analogy I often hear being used when you talk about electric vehicles is, it's like when the Model T came out and there were no gas stations, or the Model A or whatever it was that was first on gasoline, and there were no gas stations, so you had to plan your trip. You had to plan like how you were driving, when you were going. And that's what we are in with the electric car era. We're just not in a space that you can just drive and know that you're going to have an EV station on a corner. It's going to take you 10 minutes, whatever. And so will all of this stuff evolve? Will you get and by the way, when I first read that, I saw 8-door 2-foot bed. When you get a 2-door 8-foot bed, eventually, I think they'll have all the modifications and all the the different builds that you get now, but they just have to focus on one thing right now and do it well, and then they can start like variations on a theme.
Yeah, I think so too. I gotta give a shout out to, I'm gonna go with Dougie or Doogie, picking up the 2022 Tundra in the morning. Yes, so congratulations on the new truck. We always love hearing about new trucks, and people are buying them. So congratulations for that. Elliot Manning brings up a good point. Elliot, I'm in your state, by the way. He says, I just find it interesting that EV sales are so low, but automakers are moving forward with it, considering they make cars they know will sell, like going crossovers because sedan sales are low. It is interesting. I agree with that, in that it's full steam ahead by all the automakers, and yet we haven't really seen EV sales take off yet. Although
we're starting to see them take off.
It's very, we're seeing more sales because we have more variety. But I don't know if we're seeing this, but you have to caveat all that stuff too, with the fact we're still dealing with part shortages, still dealing with inventory shortages. And so I would love to see EV sales in a year from now, maybe when inventory is all stocked up. I think we'll see it'll be double-digit sales. I'm not going to predict how much it's going to be. But again, like I said, EVs do work for a variety of people, and they just don't work for other variety of people. It's just going to be tough for a while.
Well, and something else I want to point out. So I'm on the North American Car, Truck, and Utility of the Year jury, and we pull a list of all the vehicles that are new for a current year. And I can't remember how many models were on the original list, but we announced our semifinalists at the auto show. And if you look at the semifinalists, 50-50 gas electric.
Yeah.
I am going to make a prediction right here. I think every car, truck, and utility of the year for 2023 is going to be an electric car. That is my prediction.
Right, yeah. I think when you talk to journalists, I think most journalists love EVs because you have instantaneous torque, you have latest gadgets, you have latest technology, and it's new, it's fresh, it's different. And I think those EVs will win awards. So, like, I was talking to Genesis about this, and they said, "So, what do you think? Who's going to win the knack toy stuff?" And I, frankly, wasn't paying much attention. And they were like, "Okay, truck of the year is going to be it was Lightning, and it was it
ZR2,
ZR2, and it was
Endurance, which vaporware.
Lordstown Endurance is never being built. This company is going under, so that's gonna die." And I said, okay, Lightning versus ZR2 is going to win knack toy car of the year, truck of the year. And I said, for consumers, it's going to be the ZR2. It's going to sell a lot better. For journalists, it's going to be the Lightning. I think that's what's going to happen, because that's just the difference going on.
Well, and I think the SUV of the year is going to be the Lyriq. That's my prediction. I think it's going to be Lightning, Lyriq, and I think I wouldn't be surprised if Genesis G80 EV doesn't win.
Yeah, I wouldn't be either. So I can see a clean sweep.
Or the Corolla GR, the GR Corolla. It could be a toss-up between those two.
I think EVs are a clean sweep, just because, again, lots of journalists love the love them.
Okay, so I'm Mike Boatwright on here again. Can't pull up the comment because for whatever reason, I'm not logged in appropriately. He says I'm pro EV. What EV do you own? Am I pro EV? I don't think I wouldn't say that I'm pro EV. My husband and I own a Volkswagen GTI. I am pro manual transmission. That's what I can say. I am pro manual transmission. But I don't think that I would say necessarily that I'm pro EV. I just see where the magic 8 ball is pointing, and that's what's coming. And I think EVs are great for a lot of reasons, but infrastructure is not one of them. I would say the only EV that I've driven, there's 2 EVs that I've driven that I could potentially own, even though they don't have a manual transmission, and that would be the Mustang Mach-E and the Genesis G80 EV.
Yeah, I think those are both. I would argue those are both good vehicles, regardless of EV.
Yeah. And I wouldn't necessarily, and it's really funny. So I did that article a few weeks ago about the Ford Lightning Pro versus, or the Ford Lightning versus the F-150 with the price analysis. And I posted it on my LinkedIn page, and I probably have 150 comments on that post where they're all like, you're biased, you're pro EV, you're pro EV. And I'm like, am I? Do you know me? I don't know that I'm pro EV. I'm just trying to be as analytical as I can here, looking at the numbers. And apparently I use the word glug in my article, and they're like, that shows your bias. And I'm like, glug shows my bias.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm not biased, but you're biased because you're seeing what you want to see in my article, because you're looking at it through your own lens. I tried very hard not to show a bias in that article. I was trying very hard just to show the numbers, because Tim was very much like, no, EVs are more expensive. And I'm like, are they? Let's look at this. So I wouldn't necessarily say at this point I'm pro EV or anti EV. I am pro manual transmission. And when they get a manual transmission in an EV, I'm there.
I think Jeep did that. I think one of their Jeep Easter Safari things had one.
Yeah, I think, you know what? I think you're right. I think it did.
I'm still confused on how that works.
Concept. I don't care how it works. I just want it.
I gotta say, Dave Basie here, he had the comment of the night. So you made a reference to Model T and the gas station stuff.
Yeah.
This is Dave's comment. It says, and that Model T didn't have Apple CarPlay.
It did not. You know what else doesn't have Apple CarPlay? The Volvo XC60 we just drove.
Dave, that is some inside baseball on this channel. You freaking nailed it. Yeah. Oh, Gene's got an interesting question. He says, will we see more classic trucks on the road as a backlash to EV push? I think what we'll see for a few years is just like we saw in 06, 07 when the DEF became part of the issue of diesel emissions trucks and more emissions equipment. I think we'll see the average age of vehicles get older as people hang on to the last of the ICE they have.
Yep.
I don't think we'll see I don't think we'll see a backlash. I just think we'll see more customers who are saying they'd rather just wait. Not that those customers are going to say that EVs are bad, EVs are good, whatever. I think we're just having a lot of customers are going to say, I'm going to wait. I remember I was talking to my dad, and I've talked to other people about this. It seems like everybody I talk to has a different number. They're like, if they just get 1,000 miles of range, it'd be done. If we just got 600 miles of range, it'd be done. If it just had 400 miles of range, it'd be good. Everybody has a new number, and
it's
nobody
not about range.
Yeah,
it's the number about the range.
Right, exactly. And so people have these different numbers for stuff, and then when you get to talk to them, it's not about the range really. It's just a lot of concern and not knowing, and
it's unknown. So I mean, the problem we're all running into right now, it's like being on the talking about miles per hour and traveling miles, and then all of a sudden having to convert to kilometers per hour. or kilometers or whatever. This is what's going on right now, because our language is changing, and miles per hour is not a thing anymore. It's kilowatts per hour, and how many volts, and like, and I'm not I am certainly like pro move forward camp, but I don't know the language yet, and I'm a journalist, and I keep reading about it, and I keep trying to figure it out, and I'm not there. So if I'm not there, like, most of the world is not there yet, and it's just a difficult place to be in, and it's a mind shift. So for Rebel, I'm trying to switch my mind from miles per hour to kilometers per hour. And I've even switched my running watch over to kilometers, and it's not working. I'll be honest with you, it's not working. And people are like, well, how many kilometers is that? You can just look in the distance. That light is up ahead. How many kilometers is that? I'm like, well, it's a half a mile. And I'm like, then I have to do the math in my head to figure out what the kilometers are. And so that's where we are, like this weird inflection point of trying to figure out the language of EVs, in addition to trying to figure out the range and what it is that works. And again, I will argue it's not the range. It is going to be the infrastructure.
Yeah, and I will tell you that Jill totally cheated. So I walked 5.5 miles at the Detroit Auto Show, and she looked at her watch. She goes, "See, I did 10."
I said kilometers. I'm like, 10 kilometers.
You cheated. You're like
10 miles. Well, you ran this morning. I'm like, I didn't run. I did 10 kilometers. It's not the same.
cheater, pumpkin eater.
And by the way, that's 6 miles. For those of you out there who don't know kilometers per miles, that much I know, because when you do 3 miles, that's a 5K.
Yeah, enough. All right, moving along. Matthew wants to know, will the Bronco be offered a larger engine and a manual transmission? They can't.
And also, is Jill still adorable? Yes, I am.
What is that? What? Oh, Jill's still adorable. All right, so he also wants to know if Jill's still adorable as for a friend. Gene answers. He says Jill is always adorable. Back to the Bronco question. If consumers want it, they'll build it. But right now, they can't build enough of the Ford Bronco. And I will tell you, I talked to some people that have owned. I talked to a guy who owns the Bronco 2.7, and he goes, "It's enough." And I don't know. I haven't talked to many customers who've said, "I need a bigger engine, I need a 5-liter V8 or something in that." They've basically said, "No, 2.7's enough." That's what the customers are saying. So until customer demand is there, now they did offer the Raptor version, right? The Ford Bronco Raptor. And I'm not gonna butcher that. I don't remember exactly what is in that engine bay, but
it does not have a manual transmission, though.
I don't think it does either.
Bronco does have a manual transmission on more of the base engines, but I don't think the Bronco Raptor R is going to get it manual.
Okay, we got time for one more question, and frankly,
we've got to do one more thing too, because I put that you have to talk about your Lexus RX driving impressions as well. So you can answer one more question, but you still have to get to the Lexus RX.
Okay, I'm sorry, I can't see it. The StreamYard makes the text like this wide.
Yeah, and did we really talk about the EcoDiesel dying too?
I have. It's right here. The last question, common sense guy.
Okay, but then you have to go back to the RX because the Jacob family wants to know.
Can I start with the RX though?
You can start with the RX.
The RX is awesome.
Full stop. The end. Move on.
buy the 500H. The 500H is fantastic. If you have the money, buy the 500H. I thought the 350 by itself was good. I thought the engine was fine. The I didn't drive the plug-in hybrid because it was European spec only and da 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 da.
But that's going to be the best option, by the way, in terms of driving and how fast it is.
Yeah, and so my issue with the Lexus RX is simply this: it's too damn confusing. There are 4 different powertrain options. Each one has a different transmission. Each one is a different engine. Each one has a different output, and then you have different trims that go with different ones. And then if you go F Sport, you have the extra like paintbrush across the grill. If you don't go with F Sport, you don't have the extra paintbrush across. I mean, it's a confusing car to buy. And I was sitting there as a consumer and a journalist thinking about how would I buy this thing? Because I don't know. Like it would take a long time on build and price. I kind of want build and price to go live, and I may do a build and price video because it is so confusing to buy.
But
And
so
I'm
here's
just
the thing, you start with the powertrain you want, and then you go from there. So you don't look at I want the F Sport trim, but oh, damn, it's not on this engine. No, you start with the engine, and then you build from there.
yeah, which I mean, you can do that.
Plug-in hybrid,
As Jill
start there.
says,
That
you
that
can
would be my
hybrid go from there. I mean, yeah, but it's and the options are confusing. I just feel like I think from a vehicle engineering standpoint, they did a good job, as Toyota and Lexus always done. And I've been very consistent about this, that Toyota and Lexus do a good job on engineering. I think the chassis is great. The powertrain choices are all excellent. I just feel like lately the design department and the marketing department are letting people down. And it doesn't, the beak on the front is why would you want to make that vehicle that is a best-selling vehicle be polarizing to people? I don't understand that. And I don't understand why it's got to be so confusing to figure it out to buy. And the hybrid only comes in F Sport, doesn't it? Or does it? I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at my
There's
article one more
F
time.
Sport Performance, and then there's two different F Sports. There's an F Sport Performance, and I feel like there's an F Sport Design. But I think the F Sport Performance does only come in the plug-in hybrid, but the F Sport Design comes someplace else.
So Jill
I wasn't there. I didn't drive it. Somebody
But Jill
else
makes my
drove it.
no, it's good. It's good you said that, because Jill makes my point for me.
Yeah.
It is just confusing. And I feel like that's gonna be a downfall of the vehicle, is that people are gonna have to go to dealerships and be like, here's all my paperwork. I need to buy this one, whatever, and then they're gonna plug in the system, and that option is not gonna be available because of part shortages. You can't get this one with that, or they're gonna build it wrong and they try to add things, they can't add things. I find it all confusing. So
Yeah.
Overall, engineering was great. Interior was great. I don't miss the V6. I know there's a lot of V6 lovers in this, and I appreciate naturally aspirated engines. I thought the powertrains were just fantastic. I didn't have a problem with that as well. There was no concerns there. Straight V6 and V8s are just, they're going away. Just what's going to happen. But yeah, I thought the Lexus RX was a solid. Should still be a best-selling vehicle for them once you figure out how to actually buy one. And once dealers, I think dealers can put those in the lots, and that's what's going to sell. How many people are going to actually buy them? All right.
So I want to go to X BoobTube X Smith comment about, do I feel safe having the EV in my garage? So fun fact, living in Chicago, our houses are older. And my garage is actually detached. So have at putting the EV in my garage. I have no fire feeling about that because garage is not attached to my house.
All right.
But
so
regardless of that, I wouldn't have a fear unless you're having. No, I'm not even going to go there. No, I would not have the fear. No.
Yeah. So Common Sense Guy, who I love the name because I love common sense and practical stuff, says, just got here. But do you think buying an EcoDiesel 1500 now before they start making them would be a high demand used truck years on the road, like a rare fine truck? So this has been in my mind for about a week. Well, ever since Tuesday.
I was going to say for about 5 days, maybe.
Yeah, no, I was going to say a couple days. So backstory is, when the 23 Ram details came out, I looked at stuff and I thought, I want to buy this truck because the limited elite edition has some new features, new stuff. I was like, I can get that. It's all new. It's different. I can check it out. Full disclosure, I work with a PR team. Order banks open up. I need to run to the dealership and place my order right now. This is what they're telling me. They're telling me if I put it in, they will highlight it. I will have this truck by January, no doubt. 100%, absolutely. If I want an EcoDiesel, I will get an EcoDiesel with that. My challenge is the same thing that Common Sense Guy is kind of talking about, a little bit more from a business standpoint. So from a business standpoint, because you can't buy that truck anymore, that with that powertrain, I'm trying to figure out if it'd be worthwhile for the business to have it for whatever period of time we'd have it for, because that powertrain's going away, right? But I'm still thinking there'll be used customers buying it. There'll be some used traffic, as far as I'm saying traffic, as far as people searching on Google and finding our videos. So there is some value there, but I am on the fence on whether or not to buy it for the channel because, again, it's a dead powertrain. However, I was thinking about the resale value being maybe higher on that truck because I won't put that many miles on it. It'll be the last year of the EcoDiesel, yada yada yada. You add, put all of them together. So, I am currently very conflicted. I told them I was going to buy it, and then they told me they're discontinuing it. So we're kind of at an impasse.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I really want the Hurricane, but I'm hearing the Hurricane engine won't be out till next year. And so I'm really at an impasse. Like I'll be honest with you, the Ram trucks are one of the trucks I really want to buy. I think they're good looking. I think the interior's been solid. I really want to know about
The seats
reliability.
are comfortable.
Yeah, and yeah, seats are comfortable, but I want to know about reliability. I want to know if it's reliable. And I tell people all the time that they're getting better, but let's prove it. Give it to me for 6 months, 9 months. Let me put, you know, 10,000 miles out. Let's see what's going to go on. Let's see what problems I had, because in this channel, I've had problems with Ford. I've had problems with the Tundra. Every truck I get, I seem to have had problems with this stuff. So I want to try one out and see what problems I'm going to have, because damn well I'm going to find it if there's a
Yep.
problem with that truck.
Well, and so I'll say my brother-in-law is a fireman with the Indianapolis Fire Department, and he has a Ram, like from the firehouse. He works in the infrastructure on the back end of things at this point, and so they give him a company car, and it's a Ram 1500, and it's 4 years old, and the engine just blew.
Yeah.
He had to completely replace the engine.
Yeah. That I want to know. Again,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
And so
I just
he got his truck back, and it has a new engine. So I'm like, interesting. But I think the Indianapolis Fire Department is going to go a different direction in the future because they keep having problems with Ram trucks.
Yeah, I really want to know, and so I want to buy one. So I need you guys to comment below. I may make a poll on this, because I really don't know what to do. I really don't know what to do. I have 2 orders in. I just talked to another guy from a different company, and we're working together. He's going to work with me throughout the weekend. He decided he's going to call his truck guy, and I'm going to be one of the first to have that new truck I'm talking about. So, but I'm
And
not
I
going to
put
announce
a
it.
third suggestion out to you that you were like,
What?
the briefing that you went to yesterday?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. We can't talk about that.
No, we can't talk about it, but I made a third suggestion. So there are actually 3 trucks in contention.
I know. It sucks.
It's actually a really good problem to have, I think.
Well, yeah, and there's a 4th one possible, depending on what happens. I know it's coming in a couple weeks, so there's lots of new trucks coming, and I don't know what to buy. That's the problem I have. So,
And you don't
yeah,
have
with that,
December to make the purchase.
yeah, so Jill has voted on this too, and Jill, you're right, Gene. Jill does a vote in this, and so Jill and I are talking about this behind the scenes, and we spent a lot of time this week talking about the truck purchase and how it matters to the channel. And so Jill totally understands the numbers. She understands what's going on. She gets it, and it really is stressful trying to find the one to buy. And so
There could be the 2.
it could be 2, it could be 3. I don't know. It's there's so many things I want to buy, and I'm really sad. Part of me is sad that I did not get it. If I don't buy the EcoDiesel, I won't have a chance ever to really experience it. Like, really, I get it for a week. I get this. The week is like a long test drive period, right? You get to experience it mostly, but you don't get to really dig in and really experience it. And so
Yeah, you
I
just
just
feel the infotainment system failure like
oh
3
yeah.
months in.
Well, yeah, yeah, and so for example, the Tundra, right? So every press-flown Tundra I get, what's good? The infotainment is set up for a guest mode and set up locked in,
Mhm.
and the weather stripping fits up perfectly on the rear windows. Every single one, and the seat is fine, right? But I've owned that truck, and I've broken my seat. The window trim still doesn't work. Infotainment system still pisses me off, and so it's like those are things that you just don't experience as journalists, because the press vehicles we get are very gone over. All the possible pain points are done, and so again, so he says, Libertarian Neighbor says, my 2022 Ford infotainment works about 30% of the time. My F-150 Power Boost, the damn thing would turn on to, what was it? Hits 1 all the time on me. I am not a hits 1 kind of person.
You're Jill.
Yeah, that's a Jill channel, but it would do it at the weirdest time, and it would just piss me off. And so, yeah, so I want to get press loans. I want to do week-long reviews. That works out pretty well. But I do like owning vehicles too and getting the deep dive. And I like going behind the scenes engineers like I was able to do today with Toyota and get more information. So I mean that's stuff I love to do. So yeah, I'm gonna create a
Cool
poll
too.
probably.
That was a nice little tease to a cool video TBD.
I know it's so cool. It's so cool. I don't have it queued up. I should have it queued up because it is freaking cool. Anyways, going
TBD.
on. TBD. So that video go live this weekend. By the way, we have videos going out crazy this weekend. I want to give a shout out to Phil. He's been working his butt off over there. Video
Yes, he
editor
is.
Phil, and we have for you this weekend. I have the Colorado ZR2 Desert Boss versus Silverado ZR2 coming out. Bison coming out. I have a first look at the Raptor R. I was able to see that in person. That's coming out. Those are already scheduled, done, ready to go. They'll be coming out this weekend. We're trying to, push stuff out so you guys don't go overwhelmed. And then I have the Bilstein. I need to get some editing done
Oh
on
yeah.
that, and we have that to go. So yeah, you can
Bilstein
see,
was fun, by the way. That was so cool.
yeah, see the look on Jill's face. She's smiling and laughing because it was a cool trip.
There may have been some launches.
the the trip I did today with Toyota that'll go live, and so we got lots of cool stuff coming this weekend. And yeah, I'm telling you, it's I can't wait if you guys see that video because again I've owned the Tundra now for 9 months. I've done the deep dive research, and those sons of guns taught me some things I didn't know.
Wait, you don't know things?
I know it's kind of a rare thing. All right, I think that's all we have for you tonight. Anything else from
Yeah,
Jill?
wait, one more comment. So I've been eyeing this comment from Charles Stoats where he says you guys never talk about Tesla. And I want to kind of touch on that for a moment and just say the reason why we never talk about Tesla is because they don't give press vehicles. So we don't ever have the opportunity to drive Tesla vehicles. And I mean, the one vehicle that we would probably be pretty interested in is the Cybertruck, but vaporware, it's not out there yet. So I just recently wrote an article for another outlet, sorry Tim, about what's new with the Cybertruck, and there's not much. In theory it's coming in 2023, and that's about it. So but the reason why we don't talk about Tesla is because we don't have the opportunity to drive Tesla vehicles. And I mean, there is occasionally Tesla news, but it's usually about the delays, and how many delays can you talk about? I don't know. So
Yeah,
I just wanted to address that. Like we're not ignoring Tesla. We would love to talk about Tesla, but we don't have the opportunity to talk about Tesla.
So my cousin has a Tesla Model S, and him and I went for a drive, and it's what you expect, right?
Can I correct your grammar?
No. Went for a drive, and it's kind of what you expect. It's stupid fast, and the build quality was crap. Like I was walking up to his Model S, and he even admitted to me, he's like, there are fundamental problems with this car. It's not very built very well. The panels don't fit well. There's a lot of wind noise once you get certain speed because the weather stripping wasn't in well. And when I get in the Tesla, like I've been in his, and I drove a Model S as well. Or no, he had a Model 3 and a Model 3. And so I've driven two different Teslas, or driven or ridden two different Teslas now. I did the Model X 1 year, and they actually brought one to a media event, which is shocking. I rode in that, and I wasn't blown away by it. I mean, it's a big electric golf cart. Technology is cool. The things you can do over your updates, I get all that stuff. It's a ruling computer. I get that too. They're fast. Just everyone I've seen, it's just not something I'd buy. I feel like they're a little bit overpriced. I feel like the build quality is pretty bad. I have concerns about service. I have concerns about reliability long term. I have concerns about these batteries. We hear these stories, people that try to get a new battery, and the battery, they just basically just blow the car up instead, which is my favorite story ever with Tesla. So yeah, there's a reason we have to talk about it, because Tesla doesn't like us. They don't like the media. And they've been that way since they've got things going.
They don't need the media because the vehicles sell themselves. So that's why we don't talk about it. And, and we don't really have anything to talk about. But
Yeah.
one thing that I will say about Tesla that I very much appreciate is that they move the needle. Like,
Yeah.
automakers did not want to go into EVs, but Tesla came out and they were like, we're going to make this work. We're going to go forward. We're going to do this. We're going to produce vehicles. And they did some things that the legacy automakers didn't want to do. And now they're doing because they have to, because Tesla raised the bar. So I think that
I give them props for that.
oh yeah, Tesla is a great innovator and they have forced change in the industry. And whatever happens to them, whatever happens to the Cybertruck, like I am thankful for to Tesla for like moving things forward.
Yeah, I would agree. Absolutely. So like I said, more stuff to come this weekend. Keep an eye out for that. I was gonna say go Huskers, but they just fired a coach, so go Broncos.
I was gonna say Ohio State, I think, is playing this weekend. So OH. Anybody out there? Anyone? OH?
Yeah, I don't know who else. What team is rooting for? Yeah, we don't really have. This weekend should be interesting. I'm hoping to watch some sports. I'm here in Michigan, so I'm not sure I'll get too much time for that, but we'll try it out. All right, there we go. That's all we got for you tonight. As always, thanks for watching. Jill and I will see you down the road.